Welcome to a tutorial video on CSS basics. In this video, I'm going to talk about attribute selectors. In the previous videos in this series, we covered tag selectors, ID selectors, and class selectors. With tag selectors, we could find a single tag and change the presentation of its content. We change, for example, the color of the text within body, and it would cascade down parent to child within other elements within that body. We also saw by using ID and class, we could find either a very specific tag or element with an ID, or apply the attribute, apply some rules to a group of them at classification with the class attribute. We also saw in the last video where we can nest all of these together and use tags and IDs and classes to target very individual things or groups of things depending on what we want and how we're combining those selectors and various nesting patterns. In this video, we're talking about using the attribute selector. Sometimes, as I discussed in the previous video, we don't know where the code is coming from, or we don't have the ability to add IDs and classes to certain things. Maybe a program is generating this code, or maybe something other thing is writing it for us, or another person is writing this code for us. But what we care about is very specific things. Like maybe in this example here, we have a list of articles. And they have titles and they have paragraphs. But they're being written by someone else, and we don't have control over that. But we want to be able to target the article and target the article heading and change the rules of those elements and how they're presented to the user. One way to do that is through attribute selectors. We can look for the attributes of those elements instead of the tag, ID, or class. And knowing that, for example, in our more complex example here, the code is coming from someone else or the content is coming from someone else, all we can request is to say, hey, make sure you have these attributes, and then we can write our CSS to apply to that. So in this example, I'm using the article tag, the first of which starts at line 7 and ends at line 13. I've given it data-type as an attribute. The data- attribute was added within HTML5 and allows users to add their own unique attributes that are not defined already within HTML5. So in this case, I've added data-type as the type of data. But data-whatever could be something we could use as an attribute. In this case, within the article tag, as an attribute, I've added data-type equals article. Then within the H1 within the article, data type equals article heading. So we have an article and we have an article heading. And notice these repeat. Lines 7 through 13 as the first one, then lines 14 through 20 as the next one, and lines 21 through 27. All three of these are articles, and all three of them have within the article opening tag data type equals article, and within the opening tag of the H1 within that article, data type equals article heading. So again, in the example of us not knowing where this code came from or other people writing it, we want to be able to target those attributes. Maybe we don't know the ID or the class, maybe we don't even know what element it will be in, but we want to be able to target based on existing attributes. So we can do that within CSS by using the square brackets, opening and close around that. And just like we wrote it within HTML, if we want the exact equal, we can say whatever the attribute is, in this case, data-type, equal to, and within quotations, the value of that attribute we're looking for. In this case, we're looking for data type equals article. And we want to find all of the elements that have the attribute data type where the value of that attribute data type is equal to article. The same thing on line 4 through 7 here. In this case, we're looking for article heading. And again, we don't have to care about what the tag is, what the ID is, or even what the class is. As long as an element has this attribute, either article or article heading, these rules will be applied to it. So we can see that here. This is red, our article heading, and this is black text for our paragraphs. So we can use attribute selectors to find elements within a complex HTML document in the cases where we don't know the ID, we don't know the class, we don't even know the tags, but we do know the attributes. And so in these two cases, lines 1 through 3, we use square brackets around what we're looking for, and in this case, to find the exact equals, we say the attribute it is, and in this case, we're equal to article. The attribute is equal to article heading. And so we can find anything, any elements that have those attributes and apply these rules to them. Color black for articles, and color red and size 18 point for article headings. And we see those right here where we added the attributes data type, line 7, data type, line 8 for the H1. And again, as a review, these are most useful in situations where we don't know the ID or class or something else is generating this data, but we know it has these attributes, and so we can use the attribute selector within the square brackets to find that or those elements within a complex HTML document and apply some presentation rules to those. Thanks for watching.